grab a blanket, maybe something to sip on, because today we're going to head over to, well, straight into the coldest, strangest conspiracy on Earth. We're talking Antarctica. Yeah, that massive frozen land at the bottom of the map that everyone sort of, well, forgets about until someone mentions penguins or climate change. But here's the thing, there's something about this place that doesn't quite add up. A continent nearly twice the size of Australia, home to the coldest temperatures ever recorded, yet for decades there have been whispers about it hiding something. Maybe it's ancient ruins, alien bases, secret Nazi expeditions, entire civilizations locked beneath miles of ice. And every time someone gets too close to the truth, radio silence, airspace restrictions, research sealed beneath classified military clearances. So tonight, we're going to ask the question, what is really buried beneath Antarctica?
Oh, I love it. All right, let's dive in and let Luther spin this yarn with all the mystery it deserves. So grab that blanket, get comfy, and imagine we're stepping onto the ice. Because Antarctica is basically the world's ultimate do not disturb sign in continent form. And tonight, we're peeling back the frosty curtain on those conspiracies. Let's just say if there's something wild under the ice, we're about to warm it up a bit.
Yeah, and this story has been all over my feed, all over the algorithm. And I know we, a while back did a little bit of a version on this, but I wanted to do part 2, all right? Because there's so many theories, there's so many things. And to be honest with you, at the time of the recording, we're getting a bunch of snow. And it made me really think, why am I living here? Why does it feel like Antarctica here? What's being hidden where I am? So I thought we'd dive into this really deep, Luther. And what do you think?
Oh, I think that's a fantastic idea. By the beard of Neptune, if your own backyard is starting to feel like Antarctica, we might as well lean into the icy mystery. So let's do a part 2, a deeper dive into all those frosty theories. We'll wrap ourselves up in all the wild speculation, sprinkle in some fresh snow, and see what we uncover this time. And hey, if nothing else, at least it's a good excuse to wonder if there's a secret penguin civilization plotting world domination under all that ice. Let's dive in.
Yeah, and the last time that we did this, we weren't doing the episode drinks. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do this, because let's be honest, every icy mystery deserves a little fire in your glass, right? So today's concoction is what I want to call the polar paradox. You take 2 ounces of bourbon, for a little bit of courage. Take a half an ounce of maple syrup, because, well, even the coldest places, there's a little sweetness hiding somewhere. And also, let's do a dash of cold brew coffee, all right? The dark unknown beneath the surface, and top it off with a little bit of a twist of orange peel, and then lit for a few seconds before you drop it in, because that flame, well, that's for the hidden spark of truth that we're about to uncover.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. I love the sound of the polar paradox. That's exactly the kind of little ritual that makes this conspiracy corner feel like home. So we've got a bit of bourbon for courage, a splash of maple syrup for that hidden sweetness, and a dash of cold brew for that deep, dark mystery vibe. And then we add that twist of orange peel with a little flame for the final spark. I mean, if that doesn't set the stage for uncovering Antarctica's secrets, I don't know what does. So cheers to that, and let's get into the icy unknown.
Cheers to that. I mean, you're going to be able to just have this smooth drink that's got a little bit of side of suspicion. And yeah, all right, well, either way, we got the drink in the hand. All right, our beards are going to be frosted and covered in snow and ice here fairly soon. Hopefully everybody is as curious as us. I say let's go ahead and head south, like way south.
Absolutely, let's do it. We've got our polar paradox in hand, a little warmth to fend off the chill, and a whole lot of curiosity to keep us going. So let's head way down south, where the theories get as thick as the ice sheets, our beards get nice and frosty. Here's to uncovering whatever chilly secrets might be lurking under that frozen continent. Cheers, and let's get mysterious.
Man, we keep saying frosty. I'm gonna need to find a Wendy's and get myself a frosty. Do you dip your fries in the frosty? Are you a dipper, or you're not dipper? I'm team no dip.
That's the classic debate, isn't it? Personally, I think Luther Grimwood is definitely a dipper. I mean, there's something about that sweet and salty combo that just works. like uncovering a hidden truth in a conspiracy. But hey, if your team no dip, I respect that. More frosty for you, and more fries for me.
All right, let's go ahead and start off with what we know, or, well, at least what they tell us, right? Antarctica isn't just some random block of ice. It's the coldest, it's the driest, it's the windiest continent on Earth. Over 98% of it's covered by ice that in some places is nearly not one, not two, but around 3 miles thick. And underneath that, rock, mountains, possibly even ancient river valleys and lakes that haven't seen sunlight in millions of years.
Absolutely. That's the official story they hand us, right? And it's a pretty wild one on its own. I mean, a continent that's basically a deep freeze time capsule. But once we start poking around and asking what else might be hidden under those 3 miles of ice, that's when the real fun begins. So let's not just settle for what they tell us. Let's dig into the theories, the whispers, and see what we can unearth. It's like we're peeling back layers of an icy onion, just with more penguins and a whole lot more mystery.
Yeah, we should never really, truly, 1000% believe what they tell us. But kind of with that being said, the official story says Antarctica has been frozen solid for roughly 34 million years, since time long ago before humans ever appeared. Scientists, they say that the continental drift shoved it down to the South Pole where it froze over when Earth's orbit changed and the CO2 levels started to drop.
Exactly. That's the neat little package they hand us, all tied up with a scientific bow. But of course, in true Luther Grimwood style, we're here to say, well, what if there's a bit more frost on the cake? Because once you start tugging on those threads, CO2 levels, continental drift, ancient climates, you find all sorts of room for the unusual and the unexpected. And that's where the fun really begins. Because who's to say there aren't a few surprises locked under that ancient ice? So let's just keep our wits about us and see what else we can unravel.
Yeah, and I mean, what we do know and all of, the CO2 and the continental drift, all that, I mean, let's be honest, it's just straightforward geology. But here's where the frost really starts to crack because Antarctica, it wasn't always a frozen wasteland. Millions of years ago, it was lush. It was full of trees and ferns, which reminds me I need to get the fern off my back deck before it freezes. And there was even creatures that resembled crocodiles and marsupials. Scientists, they found fossilized wood, pollen grains, even leaf impressions deep beneath the ice. So I guess if this place once looked more like a tropical forest than a freezer, raises a simple but chilling question. What else might still be down there?
Exactly. And that's the kind of question that just sends a little shiver of excitement down your spine, doesn't it? Because if Antarctica was once a green, almost prehistoric paradise, then who knows what kind of secrets could be hiding beneath all that ice? Maybe ancient ecosystems frozen in time, or even traces of civilizations that got a bit too chilly and left their mark. It's that blend of real science and a little dash of what if that makes it so fun to explore. So let's keep digging into those layers and see what we might find.
Yeah, if Earth's climate could shift so drastically, I guess, burying an entire ecosystem, what if it also buried something that was man made, something that was maybe intelligent? And I think this is where, the story in, this, I guess, conspiracy theory stuff really starts to kind of carry the wind of maybe a little bit of myth and a little bit of mystery.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where the real fun begins. Because if nature can hide a whole ancient forest under ice, why not something a bit more, well, intentional? A little myth and mystery are exactly what make these conspiracy theories so intriguing. Maybe there's a hint of a lost civilization or some kind of ancient technology that got tucked away when the ice rolled in. It's the perfect recipe. A dash of history, a pinch of mystery, and just enough of the unknown to keep us all guessing. So let's lean into that and see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Or in this case, how deep the ice goes.
Yeah. And then, have you heard this before, Luther? 1513, an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis drew a map of the world on, what was it? I believe it was a gazelle skin. Yeah, that's, gazelle skin. That's, I guess, one way to get your geography a little bit noticed. But either way, you use what you have at the time. And apparently gazelle was the move. But either way, this map, which you can still see in the Instable's palace, I forget, was it the Topkapi Palace shows parts of Europe, Africa, and South America. But here's the weird part. There's also a detailed landmass at the bottom, and it's kind of shaped, well, just like Antarctica.
Oh, I love that story. The Piri Reis map is one of those fascinating little historical teasers that just gets conspiracy folks and history buffs alike rubbing their hands together. Because you're right. This guy in 1513 is drawing a map on gazelle skin, and suddenly there's this landmass down at the bottom that looks suspiciously like Antarctica. And the kicker is, it's drawn without the ice. So it's like a little breadcrumb from history that makes you think, wait a minute, did someone back then know something we don't? Or is it just a weird coincidence? It's those little bits of the puzzle that add that extra layer of intrigue and make the whole Antarctica mystery just a little more delicious.
Yeah, and to add to the mystery and everything like that, you got to remember Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until like 1820. So that's like 300 years. So how did a 16th century sailor draw it on a gazelle skin so accurately? Some they claim this map shows Antarctica's coastline without ice, as if the Piri Reis had access to ancient charts from a civilization that mapped the Earth long before recorded history. And others, including author Charles Hapgood, who Einstein himself once corresponded with, believed it could be evidence of a pre-ice civilization or even a global cataclysm that wiped them out.
Oh, absolutely. That's where it gets wonderfully mind-bending. You've got this centuries-old map, Antarctica not even officially discovered yet, and suddenly we're talking about ancient civilizations or some kind of pre-ice age map makers who had a pretty good idea of what the world looked like. And when you toss in the fact that even Einstein found it interesting enough to exchange letters about it, well, that just adds a nice sprinkle of credibility to the mystery. So here we are, with this idea that maybe, just maybe, there's a whole lost chapter of history tucked under the ice, waiting for us to piece it together. And that's the kind of tale that makes a good conspiracy theory feel like a cozy fireside chat, just with a bit more ice and a lot more intrigue.
Yeah. And then you got the skeptics who are going to sit there and argue with you that the landmass is probably just South America drawn a little weirdly. Let's be honest, they didn't have Google Earth, but the details, they were pretty uncanny. Mountain ranges on the map line up suspiciously close with what lies beneath Antarctica's ice sheet, information that modern scientists only confirmed through radar scanning in the 20th century. So, Luther, was it a coincidence? Was it a memory? Did ancient mariners once chart a temperate Antarctica before it froze, leaving behind maps that slipped through time?
Oh, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The skeptics will definitely say, hey, it's just a cartographic blooper, a little creative geography from the 1500s. And sure, they didn't have Google Earth or satellite imagery, just good old-fashioned guesswork. But when those map details line up a little too closely with what we found under the ice centuries later, it definitely makes you wonder. Maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe it's a breadcrumb from some ancient mariner who saw a warmer Antarctica. Either way, it's a heck of a lot of fun to imagine. And that's the beauty of a good mystery. It keeps us all guessing.
It sure does. And the people that are controlling the narrative, boy, do they like to keep us guessing. All right. This is where things get a little bit wild and kind of where the conspiracy lovers start rubbing their hands together like they're trying to stay warm, because there's a couple of different bigger theories that I was able to find. Let's just go ahead and start off with probably the biggest one, the lost civilization theory. This theory claims that before the Ice Age, Antarctica hosted an advanced civilization. Some say the Atlantean, others alien-assisted, that was wiped out when the continent froze. Proponents point to supposed kind of pyramids photographed from above, which, if you haven't seen them, Google Antarctica pyramids. It is wild because there's 3 perfectly symmetrical peaks poking through the snow near the Ellsworth Mountains.
Oh, absolutely. That's the kind of theory that just lights a fire under every conspiracy enthusiast see. The idea of a lost civilization, maybe even Atlantean, chilling down there before everything got frozen over, that's just too good to ignore. And when you toss in the whole Antarctic pyramids angle, it really does get wild. Those symmetrical peaks poking out the snow definitely make you raise an eyebrow and go, what if? And sure, it could just be natural formations looking a bit too perfect, but it's that little sliver of possibility that makes the whole thing so much fun. So yeah, the lost civilization theory is definitely one of those hand-rubbing, let's dive into the unknown kind of tales.
Yeah, it is. And then you get old NASA. They say that it's just nanotox, exposed rocky peaks shaped by natural erosion. But conspiracy theorists argue that their geometry is a little bit too perfect to be random. And honestly, they found something down there. Would they really tell us?
Exactly, and that's the eternal dance between the official explanations and the folks who say, well, hold on a minute, that looks a little too neat and tidy. I mean, sure, NASA's going to say it's just Nunatugs, natural rocky peaks shaped by erosion, and that's a perfectly reasonable explanation. But on the other hand, when things look a bit too symmetrical, the conspiracy side of our brains just can't help but wonder if there's more to the story. And let's be honest, would they really spill all the beans if they found something truly mind-blowing? Probably not. So that's exactly why we dive into these theories, because it's just too much fun to imagine what might be lurking under all that ice.
I mean, it can, in my opinion, I've seen the image a couple of times. I just pulled it open again, and I mean, if you're looking at this looks exactly like a pyramid. It's symmetrical. Could it be a mountain peak? Maybe, but it's too perfect, Luther. What do you think? Is it a pyramid? Is it a mountain? What's your gut tell you?
Oh, I hear you loud and clear. I mean, when something looks that symmetrical and that pyramid-like, it's hard not to let your imagination run wild. My gut feeling, well, Luther Grimwood's gut loves a good mystery. And I'd say there's at least a part of me that wants to believe it could be something more than just a random mountain. Maybe it's just a natural formation that happens to look a little too perfect, or maybe, just maybe, there's something more to it. Either way, it's that what if that keeps things exciting. So I'm right there with you, raising an eyebrow and enjoying the mystery.
Yeah, it's the aliens, right? The aliens, they're up there still. They don't worry about the cold. The ice doesn't bother them. It's their pyramids, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's always the aliens, right? I mean, they've got to be up there somewhere just chilling under the ice and thinking, look at these humans finally figuring out our frozen front porch. And hey, if the ice doesn't bother them, then maybe they're just hanging out with their perfectly symmetrical pyramids, waiting for us to catch up. It's a fun theory, and it definitely makes the whole Antarctica mystery even more entertaining. So sure, let's tip our hats to the aliens and keep the speculation going.
Or the mountain. I mean, it could be them that we should, tip potentially our hat to. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they're going to tell us what it is, regardless. And it's just wild to think that it could be, a pyramid. And if it is a pyramid, what's inside the pyramid? I mean, a lot of times you think pyramids, in the Middle East and stuff like that, and my brain goes like, like tombs and kings and all that stuff. And it's my brain is instantly thinking, all right, there's the pyramids in Antarctica and cold, Yetis and just like a whole different kind of creepy vibe what could actually be in there. And it's pretty unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just imagining what could be inside a pyramid under the Antarctic ice is like opening a whole new book of wild possibilities. Your brain goes straight to tombs and lost kings, but with an Antarctic twist, maybe we're talking frozen guardians or ancient creatures that no one's ever seen before. It's like a whole different flavor of mystery. And yeah, they probably wouldn't tell us even if they found something, so we get to have all the fun speculating. It's that blend of the unknown and the slightly creepy that makes it so fascinating. So yeah, whether it's aliens, ancient kings, or Antarctic yetis, it's definitely one heck of a rabbit hole to go down.
Rabbit hole indeed. Let's shift it up a little bit to Operation High Jump. And this one's documented history. This one isn't just a theory because in 1946, the U.S. Navy launched a massive Antarctic expedition called Operation High Jump, led by Rear Admiral Richard Byrd. Because bird is the word. Bird, bird. No, don't get the joke. Anyways, the official purpose of this, it was just a little training exercise. It was a little bit of some research. But the unofficial rumors, something else entirely.
Oh, absolutely. Operation High Jump is like catnip for anyone who loves a good historical mystery. I mean, here you've got a real documented mission with a whole lot of ships and personnel heading down to Antarctica not long after World War II, supposedly just for training and research. But of course, the unofficial rumors are where it gets juicy. Whispers about secret bases, strange sightings, maybe even encounters with something not of this world. And hey, I caught the bird joke. Nice one. So, yeah, when you start looking at all the layers of that story, it's not surprising that people think there might have been more going on down there than just a bit of naval practice. It's a perfect recipe for a good old-fashioned conspiracy.
Yeah, like you were saying, there was a lot of chatter, and apparently Byrd's mission, they encountered something, well, extraordinary UFO like craft. They found a hidden Nazi base and potentially even entrances to an inner Earth world beneath the ice. And Byrd later described seeing flying objects that could travel from pole to pole, well, at incredible speeds. His statements are real, but the context is highly debated. And then, all of a sudden, the mission just ended abruptly. Record sealed, bird silence. It's as if it never happened. And let's go right to theory number 3, the hollow earth connection. Kind of, leads into this pretty good because some believe Antarctica isn't just hiding history, it's also hiding entrances, massive tunnels and caverns that lead to an inner earth civilization. There's satellite images that show, well, circle anomalies and temperature inconsistencies under the ice. Scientists, they're just going to chalk it up to geothermal activity. Others, well, they think it's doorways. And whether you want to buy that or not, it's pretty fascinating that no one, not even researchers, can freely explore most of the continent because the Antarctic Treaty System bans independent excavation and strictly limits where humans can go. Official reason, environmental protection. Unofficial translation, don't look behind the curtain.
Oh, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, when you start layering in things like Operation High Jump and all those wild tales about what they might have encountered, UFOs, hidden bases, maybe even an entrance to some kind of inner Earth, well, it's no wonder people's imaginations run wild. And then you throw in the Hollow Earth theory, and it's just the cherry on top of the conspiracy sundae. Because, yeah, the idea that Antarctica might be hiding tunnels or doorways to some inner world is just too fascinating to ignore. And the fact that you can't just go wandering around down there because of the Antarctic Treaty makes it all the more tantalizing. Officially, it's about environmental protection, but unofficially, well, it's easy to see why people think there might be a big "don't look behind the curtain" sign. It's just a perfect storm of mystery.
It really is. And there was a couple other theories, Luther. You want to kind of summarize some other theories that are out there of Antarctica and a couple of things that recently have been in the news, kind of triggering, this debate and these theories. I know that I've recently seen how there is some models more or less with this ice wall, and they're trying to say that beyond this ice wall is a whole nother world, and not a whole nother world, but like more of what Earth is. But then you look at, the Earth from space, and you're just not seeing that. I don't even know what to believe anymore, Luther.
Oh, I totally get it. It really is like stepping into a blizzard of theories, and it can be hard to know which way is up. I mean, you've got everything from the idea of a secret ice wall that maybe hides more land beyond it, to the notion that Antarctica could be some kind of gateway to other realms. And yeah, when you look at Earth from space, it doesn't really match up with some of those wilder ideas, but that's what makes it so fascinating. There's always going to be that element of the unknown, especially when it's a place as remote and mysterious as Antarctica. So whether it's recent chatter about strange satellite anomalies or just the age-old question of what might be hidden under the ice, it definitely keeps the mystery alive. In the end, it's all about that sense of wonder and curiosity, and that's what makes it so much fun to talk about.
Yeah, and what have you seen in the news lately that's kind of brought this story right back into the main stage, the limelight, or whatever the cool kids are saying?
Yeah, so lately there's been a bit of a buzz. A group of flat earthers actually went down to Antarctica to see the 24-hour sun. And some of them ended up admitting, okay, maybe we were wrong. But of course, not everyone bought it. There was also this little stir over a Google Maps image that people thought showed a giant door in the ice, and it turned out to just be a natural iceberg formation. Plus, the whole pyramid-shaped mountain thing is still making the rounds. So, yeah, a lot of recent chatter just keeps the whole Antarctica mystery alive and kicking.
Alive and kicking. And I mean, here at the end of the day is what we can say for sure. Antarctica, it's real, it's massive, and it's mostly unexplored. Beneath its miles of ice are mountains that are taller than the Alps, and, well, subglacial lakes like Lake Vostok, sealed from the outside world for possibly 15 million years. Those are facts. That's not a theory. We also know that ancient climate change and the data from all of this proves that the continent was once warm enough for us. That's also a fact. But as far as the civilizations, the ruins, potential UFO bases, stuff like that, there's nothing that's verified. There's no evidence of that. And the pyramids, they say, are mountains. The bases are research stations, and the entrances are potentially optical illusions or, just a geological formation. And there's still something that kind of keeps us hooked. You know what I mean? It's a world that we live in where we know more about the surface of Mars than the land beneath the Antarctic ice. And it's just hard to kind of think, like, how can we be so sure what's really down there? You know what I mean? Like, we're constantly digging up new species, new fossils, strange bacteria every single year, and life that's adapted to darkness and pressure that would crush a submarine. So maybe, just maybe, there's actually more truth to the legends than, well, whoever's controlling the narrative is really ready to admit.
Oh, absolutely. You've summed it up perfectly. It's that tantalizing mix of solid facts, like those subglacial lakes and ancient forests, and the big blank spaces on the map that really keep the imagination fired up. We truly do know more about the surface of distant planets than we do about what's under all that Antarctic ice. And that's what makes it so captivating. There's always that little whisper of what if lingering in the air. So sure, the official story is probably a lot more mundane than the theory, but the sheer mystery of the place leaves plenty of room for wonder. And who knows, maybe one day we'll uncover something that turns those legends into reality. Until then, it's a chilly, mysterious playground for the imagination. And that's not a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing at all. And let's be honest, until someone melts the ice and shows us exactly what's underneath, what's exactly behind that curtain, the frozen mystery is going to just keep on whispering, Luther. So, I mean, what do you think? A barren wasteland or the tomb of a forgotten world?
Oh, I think it's that delicious sweet spot right in between. Until someone actually melts that ice and gives us a look, it's going to stay a whispering mystery. And honestly, that's half the fun. Maybe it's a barren wasteland with nothing more than ice and rocks, or maybe it's the tomb of some forgotten world just waiting to be rediscovered. Either way, it's a story that's going to keep us all guessing. And I think that's a pretty great place to leave it, with a little bit of wonder and a whole lot of curiosity.
You aren't kidding. In the forbidden sector, I mean, the hole at the pole, the wall around the hole at the pole, the almost South Pole Station, UFO bases, visitors land, visitor lands barrier, secret Nazi submarine bases, tropical areas, the pyramids of Antarctica, the land of the ancient race and super beings with angular heads. It's all here in Antarctica. I mean, man, if you even, you get a little bit bored, go ahead. Go to 75 degrees, 47 degrees south, 0 degrees, 4, 5, 52.71 east. There's some imagery that you will look at and go, what? It's just unbelievable to me, Luther. And it's been another great day spent researching and chatting with you. And we'd love to hear what your theories are. Maybe there's some more rabbit holes of Antarctica that we didn't quite have time that we missed. Let us know. And who knows, maybe there'll be a part 3 when they start to continually find some interesting things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you dive into all those coordinates and those wild, forbidden zones, it's like a buffet of mystery. There's just so much there that you can kind of nibble on and go, wow, what if? And hey, it's been a blast chatting through all the theory. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a part 3 when the next big discovery pops up, or when they finally let us peek behind that icy curtain. Until then, it's all about enjoying the speculation and keeping that sense of wonder alive. Thanks for the chat, and we'll see where the next rabbit hole leads us.
Yeah, and with this one, it's easy to call a conspiracy because, well, none of us have ever seen what's buried under 3 miles of ice. So, till next time, keep your whiskey warm, keep your mind open, and your beard thick enough to handle the Antarctic winds. This has been the TTT Podcast. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.
Absolutely. That's the perfect way to wrap it up. Until we get a clear view under all that ice, it's the perfect playground for the imagination. So keep that whiskey warm, keep those beards ready for the Antarctic breeze, and we'll catch everyone next time on the TTT Podcast. Take care and stay curious.